Live from Atlanta, Georgia, you are now listening to the Sankofa Paradox with Ed D and Low Key on ATL Underground Radio.
ATL Atlanta, what's happening? Glad to have y'all on another Sunday edition of the Sankofa Paradox. Down here in the underground with me, Ed D. Got Mr. Low Key over here to my front side, and a resident PhD to my other side, Dr. Funkenstein. And on the ones and twos, got DJ Knee-Lock, make your body rock. Listen here, man. What question? What's the question?
So I know you love the Falcons, but I just want to know how you feel about your Hawks and their firing of this coach. I'm just curious.
Yeah, they definitely fired Lloyd Pierce, man.
Actually, I don't keep up with basketball and baseball as much.
Because we ain't won since winning.
But I do follow. I didn't mean what he said. I do follow the Hawks and the Braves. I was not aware that they just fired a coach, but was it because he sucked? No, what's up?
They did him dirty, to be honest with you, and it's believed that it's because of he was so outspoken with
about
Black Lives Matter and all of these types of things that's going on with society.
It would, if that was the root of it, it wouldn't surprise me, because Atlanta teams have always been known for that management wise. You cannot be
a social activist.
Pretty much no. You can't be that into our affairs and be head guy for one of our sports teams. You don't forget about the John Rocker incident many years ago. Remember, he did not get released from the Braves for that. I don't think he suffered any backlash from team management for them idiot comments he made years ago.
I ain't gonna lie, that made me as a New Yorker hate the Braves. I ain't gonna lie.
But remember, he didn't get any backlash for that. So if they did, it wouldn't shock me at all. I mean, I actually didn't have any sports for today, but I appreciate you throwing that in there, because
I got some sports for today. Hold on, I got some sports for today.
Stuff.
Let's talk about some sports for today.
What we got sports for today?
You know what happened in Oklahoma, right?
Uh-oh. Tell me what happened in Oklahoma.
So there's a team, basically an all-black team, and it's an all-black team. They went to the championships or whatever else.
Championships they go to.
The girls basketball high school championship state title game.
I knew it.
Right?
I knew you was gonna go here.
So the Norman High School girls. Yep. National anthem, the Star Spangled Banner comes. I get tired of saying national anthem because it's theirs, not ours. The Star Spangled Banner comes on. The girls took a knee. Yep. The announcer, while on the microphone, he thought it was turned off.
Please quote him.
He said, "Let me quote him. I'm going to quote him.
Please quote him."
He said they're freaking kneeling.
No. I want to get it right.
That's what he said.
He said they're kneeling. F them.
Yeah.
But his name was Matt Rowan. I hope Norman gets their ASS kicked.
No, he said
effing N-word.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Wait a minute. You're an announcer for high school sports. Mm-hmm. This how you feel about them? Mm-hmm. And then you come back, your excuse is, oh, my blood sugar was high.
Now that
so we can blame diabetes on you being racist?
Yeah. So what diabetes, what's your blood sugar high got to do with
I guess he said when your blood sugar high, you tell them how you really feel.
Right.
Here's the deal. I know people that have had incidents with, I think it's called insulin shock. That's when you have...
Oh, okay.
It's one of
you gonna be the white apologist?
Well, no. Let me finish, because when you have not enough insulin, it's something else, and then it's either insulin shock or insulin. The thing I can't remember.
You got insulin shock or diabetic coma? You talking about that?
Yeah, that's one of those two.
You got insulin shock, but that'll make you do that. Right?
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
But if it was a true situation where his diabetes was spiking, he would have not been coherent enough to say
exactly
that
particular phrase.
Exactly.
You wouldn't have been able to. He wouldn't have made sense talking.
Exactly.
It'd have been gibberish.
Yes, it'd have been gibberish. Period.
He would have been like, they're kneeling. The cat walks the dog outside when it's hot, and then that would have been okay. He's having some kind of diabetic spike. But for him to go, they're kneeling. I hope they get their ass kicked. Effing N-words. Nah, bruh. you're not gonna get a chance to, because that's too direct. That's too, you don't go into insulin shock or diabetic coma and then get political real quick before you pass out, or it don't happen like that. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no way you're gonna get away with blame that on your sugar. I can't even see it. You mess around and was stating how you feel. Remember the tenets of racism: arrogance, fear, stupidity. Well, a couple more, I can't remember all of them. But that was the stupidity portion of racism, because your dumb behind thought that microphone wasn't hot and you didn't check. And now you finna either lose your job, because the radio stations already lost their contract. So I don't see him being employed by that radio station for too long, because you done cost some money. But you never know. But that was just total stupidity. If you're gonna, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. But check your mic, homeboy.
No. Don't be on the mic. Don't be calling sports games that got people of both colors in there. However, we're going to stay on there for a second. So you got this situation, and we're going to talk about the diabetic thing. However, you got Carla Lasser in Arkansas, who decides she wants to make a kindergartner put his bare hands on the toilet and dig out crap and tissue to unclog the toilet. She didn't get fired. They put her on administrative leave, which means you still get paid.
Wait, why the hell would she do that?
Oh, her excuse was she wanted to teach him how to unclog the toilet.
Wow.
Wait.
That's so we staying on staying on sports.
I'm guessing that the teacher was a white lady.
Of course. What black woman gonna make a black child take his bare hands and stick his hand in a toilet with feces and tissue and pull it out with his hands?
I'm surprised somebody had whooped her behind yet.
Oh wait. So wait. Again, they asked her. She said, "Well, I wanted to teach him how to unclog the toilet." I don't know no person on earth who sticks their hand in the toilet to unclog it. They get a plunger.
Well,
first and second, ain't no well.
No. I'm not. I'm not finna defend that. But I'm like, my thing is, well, what does that have to do with him learning anything from you at all over the course of it?
Why is he in there with his face anywhere near the toilet?
Yeah.
Why you in the bathroom with him? Let's think about a whole other situation.
Well, hold on. As that young, sometimes you gotta assist a little.
You get a male teacher to assist him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get you on that.
Now, okay. Well, to bump now, I'm bumping. To bump for him, when I was in kindergarten, I had all female teachers until the 5th grade. So from time to time, I did need help in the bathroom, and female that was, help me out in the bathroom.
She wanted to start with you? Okay, so you might want to keep that teacher name.
Wow.
But listen, but it was also during a different time when stuff like that wasn't frowned upon, because you actually trusted your teachers to take care of your students and of your kids.
And not take care of them.
And take care of them, and when it was all just a part of the job.
Regardless of what, she needs a behind kick.
Yeah, she does. Because
the kid went home and told mom and said, "Mama," she said, "How was your day?" She made me get my boo boo out of the toilet. Like what?
Yeah.
What you mean?
I don't even know how you process that, like, mentally as a parent.
Yeah. But think about it like this: even on the movie School Days, when the Gamites were playing,
it was bananas.
They had a banana. They knew that you don't have nobody stick their bare hand in the toilet with feces in it. They put a banana. This woman just made a kindergartner.
Grab the dookie.
Now you must figure out what has she done to any of these other children.
Yeah. Because my first thing is, as a parent, wait a minute. First of all, go wash your hands. Second of all, come back and tell me what happened again. Because I heard you, but I didn't hear you. I heard hands and boo-boo. So maybe I'm thinking, because kids do stupid, mischievous, dumb junk. So I go, first of all, I heard boo-boo and hands. Go wash your hands. Okay, now, what did you say? Now I'm pissed because I had an opportunity to hear what you say.
But if that mom would have got in her car, drove up there and punched that woman in her face,
I wouldn't be mad at all.
Everybody be like, "Oh my God, black woman assaults teacher."
I wouldn't be mad at all. I'd be like,
"Oh man, she need to be drugged."
She do.
But again,
tied to a tree.
But right now we have talked about two things. We've talked about an announcer in high school, another person in around kids in a school calling them effing N-words. And then we got another teacher making a kindergartner put his bare hands in a toilet. Like, for real though, you need your tail whooped.
But Colin Kaepernick was so un-American though.
Well, no. Yeah, of course Colin Kaepernick is American because he kneeled for this type of justice.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you came out with a news report and did not mention the teacher's name. Why not?
They want to keep anonymity for the white ladies.
I don't understand.
First of all, those are charges.
Yeah.
That's a charge. That's actually
Public.
abuse of a child.
Yeah.
I don't understand why doggone termination ain't came up yet. Because my thing is,
Well, you gotta teach
you in
you.
Arkansas, and this is a pink woman.
But they got a union. They can't fire her right that quick.
Yes.
Yes, they can. That's child abuse.
for that,
That's child abuse.
Yes.
Those are charges.
union
You're
or
dismissed.
not, union or not, for that kind of egregious act, that's termination.
What union gonna take that case?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, if you're a paid member of the union, they don't got a choice.
Yeah,
Yes, they do.
union-
They have a choice. They do. They get to. They don't have to take the case.
yeah, you're saying that, but the way unions are supposed to work,
Right.
If we can get you your job back, we're gonna proceed towards that win, lose, or draw. Now, whether they should or not is not necessarily in question because of how unions work. But is it going to be a case that they're going to take seriously as a union? They're supposed to say objective, but that kind of
So
situation
let me
is
get
kind of like
okay. So a union is still a business. Still a business.
I get
You're
you.
going to defend child abuse?
I mean,
'Cause
police
no,
defend police
public defense
brutality
have
all
to
the
do it
time.
every day.
Hold on. You're going. No. See, this is the thing about teaching.
You have to do
You
your
have a
job.
certificate. That is an egregious act. That is an egregious act. So with that egregious act, your certificate is immediately gone.
That don't mean
But you're
yeah.
still protected by the teachers union.
Right.
And they have to do what they have to do.
You're not protected. You ain't got no certificate no more. Because you're not a teacher anymore.
But all of that has to
No,
go through a
if you
due
paid into the
process.
union,
All that
you
has to
paid
go
into
through
the
a due
union, they got to
process.
take your case.
and
bro.
they're not going to snatch your certificate. You may be terminated by the principal who has authority to terminate you, but you still have to go through the due process
Exactly.
to see whether your T certificate is now revoked.
Oh, that's got to be revoked.
Well, I hear
It
what you're
doesn't have to be
saying,
resolved until
but it
that
has to
case,
go
until
through
you are
due
found
process.
guilty.
Yes,
You
it
can't
has to
do
go
that
First of
before
all,
that. Before
first of
that.
Because if you, but see,
What if
and let me
they
tell you,
was
'cause I know-
lying?
And let me tell you, 'cause I know
The teacher already admitted to it, so the nose on the line. She admitted to it.
Let me tell you, I know because I have two parents that work for the school system. So for decades. So even now, if any portion of that process from the act of the charges to the principal go ahead and saying you're terminated through the union doing whatever, if any of that goes wrong, that teacher now has positions to sue
Facts.
and counter
get
sue,
paid.
and those suits are you talking about you talking about quarterback, quarterback, top quarterback money for them, because if you mess up any portion of that process,
That's right. The mama
person
get all that
has,
money. The mama gonna get all that money.
She has
Because
time
the mama gonna get all
to
that money.
sue.
Because
Well, I'm talking
you
about the
just
teacher.
abused her child.
I get that.
So yeah, but
Physically
that
and
will
mentally.
happen
And
later.
put her child during a pandemic at a health risk.
I
that-
get
but
all
that will
But
happen
I'm talking
later,
about
though.
if any portion of that process is
The
not
moment
done
the
properly,
mama files charges,
the
that woman's
teacher-
supposed to be arrested.
Well, we're not arguing on that.
But I mean, again-
that's the judicial system. That has nothing to do with the school system.
Actually, it does, because your judicial can affect your school.
I understand that, but if the teacher has not been arrested, that has nothing to
That's
do
the
with the
problem
school
right there.
system.
They said administrative leave. They didn't say arrested.
I think she
But that's
should
my
be arrested
point.
for
That has
assault.
nothing to do with the school
Yeah,
system.
that's assault. That's definitely
The
assault.
school system ain't.
Child, see, that's the thing. If you look at the standards, professional standards for teaching, she broke like 8 of those. I'm being real. She broke. I've seen the professional standards for teachers. She broke about 8 of those. Off rip, she broke about 8 of those. One of those is enough to get your certificate revoked. 8 of them?
Well, yeah, but I hear you. But revoked after the due process. You just don't go. What does she do? Oh, revoke it. You just don't click a button and.
Man,
And let's not act like this is the only pink person. I forgot the lady's name, but she's a teacher. She slept with the high school student. She still kept her certificate, and she still was teaching.
Oh, tell me which one? Because a couple of them been put in jail lately.
Well, a couple of them, but I forgot the lady name. But she didn't go to jail. They sent her to get some counseling.
Counseling?
And
You can
then
raise
she
a child
still
and get
got
counseling?
because it's a high school student, right?
That's still right, dude.
I agree.
What
I'm just
small
telling you
town
what
is
they were
this?
saying.
What small town is this?
Oh, that's somewhere in Bum. I can't remember, but
I heard you was.
What state? What state?
Bumblechuck. Where in Bumblechuck is this?
oh god, but yeah, like
I mean, I'm just like this. This announcer called some black, or actually mixed team, the N-word for kneeling.
No.
But
That's not-
nobody is calling out this teacher for the abuse of this child.
Yeah.
We're talking about you want to fuss and cuss about people kneeling, which is their right. You want me to stand up for something that doesn't stand up for me? Because had that been me doing that, had I been protected, like the teacher that got fired for when the little boy was whooping his tail, and the teacher slammed his butt and beat the brakes off that dude.
Didn't he get his job?
He got fired immediately. It wasn't no due process.
You absolutely
It wasn't no you went through nothing. He got fired immediately.
You right.
That's what I'm saying. She should have been fired immediately. You can the principal.
Well, you just said due process.
Well, you're not listening to me.
I heard you.
The principal has the right to terminate a teacher to say.
Actually, he does not.
To say at this.
I was about to say that has to come from the school board.
That's HR.
That has to come from the school board, right?
Right. Principal can recommend. The school board has to actually fire you or not renew your contract. That's the school board. It has nothing to do with the principal.
So the principal has no authority to say.
He can actually leave his building.
Okay, well let's say that.
The principal has authority to not renew your contract.
Right. He can suggest not renewing. They can get their contract renewed because your contract is actually a part of the county, not the school.
I got
so he cannot renew. He can say he doesn't want to renew it, but the county can renew it and send you somewhere else.
Right, but you won't be in that building.
Exactly. Yeah. He can say he don't want you in his building, but he or she cannot want you in that building. But the thing about that is, none of that happened. You got put on administrative leave and you getting paid. You mean you still getting your paycheck after doing this? But again,
where was this at?
Arkansas.
Okay, makes sense.
Boop, boop,
boop. Into his house.
But I mean,
people get mad at me for saying this all the time, but I say we need to leave where we are not wanted. And this might be, but like for example, I don't think any of us should be in Oregon. Like I'll be honest with you, in Portland, I don't think any of us should live in Portland, Oregon, specifically. Because if you go back into the history and you look up when that town was first originated, it was in the bylaws that no black person could buy land here, whether they were free. No free black person could buy land here. It was like looked at as a white utopia, free of blackness.
But I already had black people there. It was white utopia that already had black people there. The governor you're talking about, he actually was from Missouri. He moved out west and put out a state decree that said any African American, free or slave, must leave this state. And if they do not leave, they will get 50 lashes every day. They do not leave this state. That's what it was. And you know what we did? Make me. We out west. Ain't no slavery out west. We out west. We still may be treated bad, but we out west. We in the old west, gunslinging west. Somebody gonna die today.
Frontier town.
You know what I'm saying? So
I'm with you, but I'm just saying we should instead of being in scenarios where we are always at the whim of master and all this, try to create our own situation. Whereas we can lessen, we won't be able to completely eliminate it, right? But we can lessen dealing with the effects. Because I'm not a parent yet, but if my child come back telling me that they got suspended, my daughter come tell me she got suspended because she had natural hair, I'm going to jail.
I'm hot.
Who you to tell my kid her natural hair that God made ain't beautiful? I will bust your face in several places
and go to jail at the same time
and give zero fucks.
Well, my thing is this about stuff like that, because there was also a situation where a wrestler. They made the dude cut his hair before the wrestling match.
Oh my God, that made me so mad.
That's just pure unadulterated racism. Because what does his hair have to do with him being a proficient wrestler? Nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with him at all. It was rolled up or pinned up. It wasn't like his locks were going everywhere. And
so I can speak on that. First of all, he was already on the mat. He had to go through what you call checks before he even is able to wrestle. Checks happens in the locker room. So he was already checked and approved to go out there to wrestle. Otherwise, he wouldn't, because before that, you can't even weigh in. So that means that he's already been through everything he needed to wrestle. Mm-hmm. It was this ref who decided to enforce his will, which is why he can no longer ref anymore.
Oh, you got
put Oh, come on now, brother. You in New Jersey.
I'm glad.
You in New Jersey. You in one of the wrestling capitals doing this? Oh, you out, bro. And some people can't take defense. Well, nah.
There is no defense for that.
Nah, none whatsoever. Now, the little boy wouldn't let the man cut his hair so he could wrestle. Yeah, so it was important to him.
And he was mad as hell about it, too.
Oh, parents are mad as all get out. So that's why he
He beat that boy.
Technically, that's actually assault. That's actually assault.
I agree.
That's true unadulterated racism right there at its best. Because you looked at this kid with these locks, and probably got afraid of the kid. Because when racists get afraid of you, that's when
they try to invoke the power to have that over you.
Exactly. When you put fear in a racist, they do dumb jump because they're afraid of you. So that was just pure.
You see the pain in that boy's
kids
eyes?
in cages.
You see the pain in that boy's eyes when they was cutting his hair, man.
Hey, but I'm gonna say it like this.
He was sick.
I keep saying they better be lucky we asking for equality and not revenge.
That was gonna be my next statement, because it's like, if you keep pushing this envelope, at some point it's gonna be, if freedom don't ring, the chopper gonna sing.
So I'm gonna say this, because I hear what you're saying about don't be where you want it. So let me ask a question. If you go out right now and we'll say off Cascade, and you take your time and build your house with your hands from the ground up, and somebody moves next door to you and say they don't want you there, are you leaving? So you're saying don't be where you want it, as long as it's not
wanted.
Well, you're not wanted, as long as it's convenient. Because we built this country with our bare hands. You telling me to leave what I built? What I built because somebody don't want me here? How about they leave first? If they don't want me here, how about they go? They can actually remove themselves for the situation.
I got you, but if you're in a situation where 95% of the population is pink and 5% of the population
85%. Not 85%.
No. I
90%.
said if you are in a situation, specific states, the population is like, I want to say Oregon or Seattle, or no, maybe not Seattle, but
Oregon,
Washington.
African Americans are about 9 to 12%.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever it's lopsided, like Idaho. You know what I'm saying? Like, that might not be the safest place.
Yeah, he's the hoe.
That might not be the safest place for you to go. You understand?
Well,
and if you're gonna be in that place, you better be one of those Second Amendment loving people.
I lived in Oregon, and I didn't have any problems in Oregon. I don't know. I always walk around with I kill you face on my look, but I didn't have a whole lot of problems in Oregon. I would get a lot of stares. I would get a lot of looks. Sometimes I would walk different places, people kind of look at me. I remember when I went and got my weapons permit in Oregon, and when I walked into that classroom, I got a ton of looks. So that energy is there, but I never felt like anybody was going actually doing anything to me,
That's because you a trained killer. It's a different situation.
So I mean, I look at it like this though. I mean, to keep it simple. I mean, at the end of the day, we gotta understand now that we are under fire. We are progressing too much for some people. We are progressing entirely too much for people.
And that statement right there is powerful and depressing at the same time.
Yes,
Just said,
because we were never supposed to get to this point.
Yeah, we're
I mean, it's being real.
Progressive for some people. What in the HE double hockey stick does that even mean?
Because you got to think about it.
We're never supposed to be anything but culturist.
But
that's a good way to say
you're supposed to be a consumer. You ain't supposed to have no substance.
Exactly. You're only supposed to be able to buy and build my wealth.
That's
not build wealth for yourself.
Who the hell are you building the wealth for
why
yourself?
You think about it? Why you think they keep telling LeBron James to shut up and dribble?
Right.
Because this is the issue, and I mean, this is bringing us to our topic today. Because this topic that we have today is, I believe, highly and very important. And our topic today is Attack on Black America Part 2, One Night in Miami. The essence of Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, Malcolm X. And we're going to also honor civil rights attorney Pauli Murray. If you don't know who Pauli Murray is, because this is Women's Month. And I was told that we need to go ahead and make sure we highlight the women that's out here doing these big things.
Before we hit the topic, we didn't get a chance to do any feelings on the Cuomo situation. How do we feel about Cuomo?
I don't care.
Okay. All right.
I'm gonna be real with you. The reason I don't care is because everybody who's calling, first of all, they're calling for Cuomo head because he's a Democratic governor in New York. And he was going against Donald Trump ever since Trump had been put in office. But he knew that, one, he don't pay no taxes. 2, he's not a good businessman. And 3, he messes up everything that he touches. Look at this country right now. Mm-hmm. It's more divided than it's been in years. It's more divided. It was more divided under him than it was under Trump, under Bush.
And national debt is crazy right now.
Right, like literally, Bill the Thrill Clinton, even though he was in the White House getting saliva, the issue.
Oh my God!
Wow.
But he cut the national debt like by 60%. Mm-hmm. That's unheard of. And we all had money. So what was Bill doing? That our debt was cut, and we all had money. Mm-hmm. Like who was he robbing?
And could get a job in 2 months.
Like literally, you sit there and get fired on Monday, have a job on Monday night. Yep. Like, wait, didn't you just get fired at 3 o'clock? Yeah, but I got a job at 5:30. Yep. Where you going? To work? You just got hired. I know, man. I got beat up by 6. Yep. That's what Bill the Thrill did. But Bill the Thrill will tell you he learned some of that from Daddy Bush. Yeah. Daddy Bush, and I'm like, I don't think Junior was all as bad as I just think Junior was just not that intelligent. Like he didn't really know what to do. He was just like, look, I ran, I won. I didn't expect to win, but I won. And so it's...
I think he expected to win, but I just don't think that he had enough experience to do the job properly. But in his contrast to Trump, he had an all-star team he actually listened to.
Oh, yes, he definitely listened to him. 9/11 happened. Ooh. Wait a minute, this is the only president that I know of that can stand up having a speech and somebody throw 2 shoes at him. Yeah. And he dodged them both. You see how quick he dodged them shoes? Whoop, whoops. Oh, sure. Whoop, whoops.
He went into
now, the funny thing is no Secret Service jumped in front of nothing. They were like, dang, bro, that messed up what happened to you.
But I'm going to say this, though.
That shoe today.
But one thing you got to think about, like, the reason why I feel like they're going after Cuomo, so we don't get too far off of the topic, is the fact that he's planning on running for president.
What I think is...
And they want to stop that.
It won't be in 2024. Because I believe they're going to give Kamala her chance, her shot. I think.
And you know what? That could be the case. I doubt it. But you know what? If I would welcome it. But what I'm saying is he's going to try to run for president. And they're trying to stop it because he's not part of the team.
Well, I don't know what part of the team is because he's still rich. So
the reason why I say that
he didn't become governor of New York and not being on part of nobody's team. Let's be real now. His brother's also a well-known gay broadcaster. So he a part of some team.
But he's not gay?
You sure?
He's not gay.
You sure?
That man is not gay.
You positive?
Yes.
Wow.
Wife and
down,
kids.
Down.
Wow.
Just because him and Don Lemon exchange sentiments at the end of their broadcast does not mean that man is gay.
He just I love you because I love you?
Listen, man.
They've been through some things together, man.
Yeah, but he didn't say I love you. You ain't doing that.
Yeah, come on, man.
But at the end of the day, I don't care. To be honest with you, no, the man's not gay. But he got some tendencies.
Wow. Stop.
Does he not have some tendencies? I watched Chris Cuomo. He got some tendencies.
I ain't never seen no tendencies from this person.
That means you may not be able to recognize tendencies.
Whatever. That's fine.
All right, so, but at the end of the day, no, he's not. He has a wife. He's happily married, so that we know of. We gonna say he is.
Exactly.
We don't know, but But I can respect any man that says my family come first.
No,
you're not gonna sit there and he told us, all right, we're not gonna sit there and talk about my brother. That's my brother.
But you see, that's what I mean.
He cut it off in the middle of it. Nah. Everybody was like, It was so bad they had to go commercial.
That's what I'm saying about they're playing for they're not playing for the team because when you get to that arena, most of them will stab their mama in the back. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, obviously, Chris Cuomo won't.
Yeah, obviously. Big time, obviously.
But again, since this situation has come out with the COVID situation, you have 6 women that said they didn't say he sexually assaulted them. They said he sexually harassed them. Now, this is my issue with that. You know, I don't believe in sexual assault or harassment. But all of a sudden this comes out. All of a sudden. This man been governor how long?
But that's why I feel like it's bullcrap. They're trying to assassinate his character.
I mean, that's always the case. When you're somebody that fights for something that everybody else can't necessarily get behind, all of a sudden you have all these allegations against you.
That's why I say he don't play for the quote-unquote team.
But who is this team you talking about?
I'm talking about
the
team
back
of the
Africa?
No, hold on.
Don't sleep. He does belong to the DNC. So he's on a big team.
Yeah,
it's just that I think at this point they want him to step down and kind of want things. I think they want him to go away for a while and come back as a presidential candidate. You know, because when you do something dumb as a candidate, you have to go sitting on ice
in the corner for a while
and let things blow over.
You got to go sit with your dunce hat on the corner.
Yeah,
but most of the time when that happens, you don't come back. What was that dude that got excited?
Hold on, wait. Marion Barry came back. Are you kidding me?
What I mean,
crack on camera.
That man was pimping the whole city. So I mean,
and then he went away and came back as a mayor again.
But what about that dude that got excited on the camera? We're gonna win Delaware. Woo! That dude, he ain't never come back from that one moment.
He may not come back from that one, but he shouldn't in that instance. Because that's just one evil that just should not be tolerable. So that's one mistake you just can't make, and then come.
But I don't believe he did that. I don't think Cuomo did that. I think it's a lot.
He should come back at some point to be able to make a living for himself.
I can't say
not there.
He didn't sexually harass any woman because it can be just in the verbiage or language he used. He may not have meant anything by it, but somebody can take something like that and make it out to be something that it's not. And I'm gonna leave it there because at our topic we're gonna talk about that, and it's a serious matter when we talk. Wow, it's a serious situation when we talk about things like that. And when we talked about one night in Miami, I want to talk about Sam Cooke first. And the reason I want to talk about Sam Cooke is because we just talked about sexual harassment, and we all know Sam Cooke was a music business pioneer, not just artist, business pioneer. This man was making more money from music than anybody in the music industry. And so people can have an understanding of what I mean. Sam Cooke owned the catalog to most of the Rolling Stones' #1 hits. Yeah. Owned the catalog, which means he was past paid.
A portion of that reason was because a lot of their songs came from him and one of his partners.
Right. So and then he explained to his partner. His partner was like, "Man, that's my song." He's like, "Yeah, bro, but you're number 96."
Yeah.
All of a sudden, but they took my song and became #1. Yeah. And then he handed him his check. He was like, "Oh, do I need to write down some more songs?" Because when that stuff hit #1, that's something totally different. Mm-hmm. So, but he was a musical genius, a pioneer. And what people don't understand is Etta James, all of them artists came to Sam. Yep. And Sam was not just making himself money. See, people don't understand. Sam was making more money than Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown, and others all combined.
Yeah, but
that's what type of money. What did Sam tell Muhammad Ali? Hey, Negro, when the last time you made $250,000 in cash in one day? Yeah. And it's like, well, never, sir.
Yeah.
But also he later became a civil rights activist. And when you're that powerful and you're a civil rights activist, people listen. And I want people to understand this real quick. Because we talked about Fred Hampton dying at 21. Sam Cooke was killed by a hotel clerk at 33. 33 years old.
And it was questionable.
Which means, well, we can talk about the questionality of it. So let me get this straight. Some woman comes to a hotel room with you, claims that you forced her to come, even though everybody said you left freely with him. Mm-hmm. You steal all his clothes and run. And say you go knock on the hotel person's door.
She said she picked up his clothes by accident, but
you picked up all his clothes. You knew them pants weren't yours when you had on a dress.
Well, she claims in her the frantic nature which she was trying to get out of the room, she just grabbed everything.
She grabbed all his clothes.
Keep going.
When the last time you know a man to drop his clothes on top of a woman's clothes in the room? We don't do that.
That's what I'm saying.
No, because you like, that's your stuff. This my stuff.
Yeah.
But, so you grabbed all his clothes. Now, mind you, he's sexually assaulting you. While sexually assaulting you, you had time to stop. Grab all the clothes and then run out. And then had time to knock on the door and say, and then had time to run and leave the hotel and call a payphone.
To that point, the lady claims that he went to the bathroom, and that's when she made her move.
So he sexually assaulted you, but you didn't have intercourse, and he went to the bathroom knowing he sexually assaulted you.
I'm just making bullet points.
Okay, so then he goes and knocks on the hotel clerk's door, asks where this woman at. What naked man you know goes to somebody's door and say, "Hey, where this woman at?" And you're so strong as a woman, you were able to tie Sam Cooke up, put his hands behind his back, and beat his head in?
Well, I've seen the crime scene photos. His hands weren't tied behind his back.
He had ligature marks where his hands were tied behind his back.
That part I didn't read.
Because
from the account that I read.
Yeah, who wrote that report?
That I don't know, but from an account that I read, he forces his way into the hotel clerk's office. They struggle. She shoots him in the abdomen with this little PP behind gun, but I guess it was no.
It was a shotgun, bro.
No, it wasn't. It was
sure?
It was almost a Derringer type weapon because the police detective had one of the main pictures was that the guy was palming the weapon in his hand. It was real small.
She shot him basically with a 22 in the chest.
Either 22 or 25, maybe it'd been a 32. But
25. So in those times,
no, in the abdomen.
Right. No, in those times, when somebody had a gun behind the counter in the office, it was a 22. Nah.
Man, you can't say that.
Okay, so we gonna go with, back then they had shotguns. They wasn't carrying 22. Because remember, this is in the 60s.
Can't say that, but
this is in the 60s though. And in the 60s, you wouldn't walk around with little baby 22s unless
it's
it was
also a black woman in the 60s. And ain't
this is a black clerk?
Yeah, the lady was black.
The black clerk, okay, so the black clerk says that, because the woman that killed Sam Cooke, or accused Sam Cooke, was she white or black?
The woman that accused him of the sexual assault, she was Asian looking, I think.
So she was not black?
No.
So this woman came to the hotel clerk's office, knocks on the door, not black. What black woman do you know in the 60s now
Go open the door
for a white, or open the door and shoot Sam Cooke?
Well, see, that's where things kind of get blurred because in the account that I read, the woman knocks on the door, the lady takes too long to get there, so she leaves the hotel complex altogether. Sam Cooke comes up and banging on the door looking for the woman. He pushes his way into the office. They struggle. He stumbles and falls. She goes and gets the gun, comes back, bam.
So
and then
he struggles and falls, and she did not run away. She went and gets the gun and shoot him. Think about that for a second.
They struggle. He falls, and she goes where to get her gun. That doesn't sound peculiar to me. The thing is when he fell. My thing is if he during the struggle he fell, did you have time to step over him and get out of the office? Where did he fall in relation to you and getting out of the space where you were with him? Because now what I find problematic is an older woman in a physical altercation with a man and he falls. Usually that first instinct is I got to get out of here.
Thank you.
Not let me go get
in the 60s. In the 60s.
Exactly, because I mean, usually I think, and I know there's some pretty gangster behind females out there, but like you said, during that time period, I don't see that. I don't. That's that different kind of female dynamic that you ain't really used to. So in that instance,
when Etta James goes and sees Sam's body, his head was pretty much dislodged from his body.
No, see, I didn't get that account.
Because see, this is the thing. It's the thing about that. See, you're reading the report. You need to read what his friends who went to go see him at the morgue said. Mm-hmm. He had ligature marks around his wrists. His hair was pretty much dislodged from his body. That means somebody beat that man to death. Because they're saying cause of death was a gunshot wound, but they never said anything about the prints on the gun. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Because you could take fingerprints back then too. Yeah. But they never said whose prints was on the gun. True. Because if somebody is attacking you, and somebody decides, well, first of all, you shoot him in the abdomen, he can still fight you. So it means you're going to shoot. If you're a woman in that fray, you're going to shoot him more than once.
And I don't believe, knowing what I know about rounds and weapons, a 22 maybe, but a 25 or a 32 round in your stomach, maybe you bleed out, but I'm seeing it taking a while. Even with a 22 round to the stomach, which will cause a lot of damage because 22 rounds flip and spin.
Right.
But
you don't die immediately.
No, you're not going to die.
You're going to sit there, you're going to bleed out.
But it's going to take a while.
It's going to take a long time, which means police and authorities have time to get there, and you will still be alive.
I can see you being able to hold even just with your two hands over a 22, 32, or 25.
Right. You can hold pressure on it,
yeah,
and be like, oh,
surviving.
right.
So I'm saying it is problematic how he died, but there's a lot of unanswered questions that we'll probably never have the answers to.
So
because Anna James is dead.
Right, but no, Anna James gave her account and said, ain't no way in the world that no woman did this. Ain't no way in the world.
And the other thing is funny. Well, it's not necessarily funny, but it's weird about it because when I was little, it was always said that he was shot by some dude in the hotel because he was messing with the dude's woman. And then, later on I read what I read, and then recently when One Night in Miami came up, I started reading again, and that was not the case.
So,
because
we all know
he was about them bras.
Right. We all know. First of all, he ain't going to chase nobody.
True.
That's the first thing. It's Sam Cooke. So the second thing is, if that's the case, why is it that a few years later, the woman who accused him of sexually assaulting her is spending 20 years in prison for killing a man? See what I'm saying? It's one of them things. Whereas, if it don't seem right, it's probably not right. But again, let's recount for a second. The four friends, the four civil rights activists, Sam Cooke, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Jim Brown were all good friends. Mm-hmm. Two of them were assassinated. Yep. Two of them, their characters were assassinated. So, because you're not going to kill Muhammad Ali.
No.
Because he makes other people too much money as well. Yeah. Sam Cooke was making himself money.
Yeah.
And Jim Brown, you gonna have a tough time trying to fight Jim Brown and win that struggle.
Yeah.
And so, but it got to the point where he'd be like, you know what? Peace. I'm out. Y'all not gonna disrespect me like that.
But watching that movie though, it's weird coming up to.
Now the movie is a fictional account. Remember that it's a fictional account.
Well, it's based on true.
No. It's a fictional
story.
account.
It's based
on a friendship.
Well, it's based on true events. So it says in the beginning of the movie based on true events. But the thing that I found funny was Jim Brown was in that kind of friendship with those people. Like you said, you got Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, and then you got this man sitting somewhere holding up the name of Donald Trump. How the hell does that evolve over time? How do you go from being
Jim
cool?
Brown holding the name of Donald Trump?
You didn't see him sitting at the desk with that fool?
I saw him sitting at the desk, but I see him holding the name.
When I mean holding up his hand, I mean being on his side.
He went on Donald Trump's side.
Shit, okay.
He's done some questionable things.
He's done some questionable things, but he wasn't on his side.
He has definitely been an advocate for Trump during Trump's.
I have yet to hear Jim Brown come out and say I endorse Trump.
Am I wrong?
He never said he endorsed Trump.
Wasn't he there?
There's a lot of black leaders that met with Donald Trump. A lot of black leaders.
Jim Brown definitely met with him, and I think what happened was Trump. What he did was he really spun that.
Right. Thank you.
So he spun it.
He spun it. Because Jim Brown came out and said, "Wait a minute, no."
I'll take that.
I say that happened to Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey, and when Steve Harvey was standing next to him, Trump was like, and Harvey has endorsed me. And if you look at that moment, you see Steve Harvey turn his head like the fuck.
Right. See, so I'm saying
I'll take that.
He's a spinster.
He took advantage.
So I mean, we're going to talk about more about this after we come back from commercial break, because this is going to be a rough subject, because we're also going to end up having to talk about Malcolm X or Ilham Malik Shabazz and his journey and break from the Nation of Islam, which is a lot of controversial thing. And we're going to talk about Ray Woods. And we'll talk to you all about who Ray Woods is after we come back from commercial break.
DJ Neelock, give us that. Let me see if I get it right. Give us that artist industry spotlight of the week.
Indie artist spotlight.
Wait, I still say it wrong?
Yes, man. You little mumble mouth.
and not only that, indie actually means independent.
Yeah.
And what did I say?
Industry.
You said industry, bro.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Indie. Say it. What is it?
Indie spotlight.
That's indie spotlight. Independent artist spotlight.
Independent artist. The indie spotlight of the week. I thought it was 4 or 5 words. I don't know, indie spot. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, spotlight is one word, but okay.
Spotlight
groove. Spotlight groove.
Hey, don't give me. Hey, don't get me started on Spotlight Groove now. We have to end the show. Do your thing, bro.
All right, y'all. Sankofa Paradox with Ed D and Low Key will return in a minute right after our indie artist spotlight. Today's indie spotlight features music from fellow Controllerized producer Radic, based right here in the Atlanta area. You can check out his music on all streaming platforms and check him out on Instagram at Radic by Nature. That's RADIC by Nature. We'll be checking out a few of his tracks from his Loopback Protocol and Great Conjunction beat tapes right after our official intermission song I'm in the Box by Lyrical Preacher. Stay tuned.
Lamar. ISO. It's for all my people in them boxes. You know, those who scared to step outside the comfort zone. This one's for you. Let go. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. Swaggy, swaggy, swag. Swaggy. I'm a swagaholic. Swag. I got so much swag, I could make a swag profit. Gucci on my body. Gucci. Louis on my bag. Louis. You love this crappy music, so I gotta pop them tags. Cash out. Pork chop, ballin'. Ballin'. Call it balls hog. Oink. I get so much money, call it women, female dogs. When I'm in the club, all the people lose control. I'm crazy. And that's because I sold the music industry my soul. They said to take my talent and put it in a box, so I'll never make enough money to afford a pair of socks. No clothes. So here I am flexing, cause I sacrificed my dignity and sealed away my vision just to make it in the industry. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I sold my own mama for this fame. You I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. Okay, hold up. I really think I need to address this. Yep. It's funny what a person will do for a gold chain or a diamond necklace. Really? 70% of the time, it's not even about the money. They just want attention. And they're willing to sacrifice their integrity and originality for an honorable mention. Let me get you with a question. Are you really that pressed for the fame? That you're willing to limit your talents and gifts to skate your way into the game? That's a one-hit wonder. 15 minutes, lost of your artistic focus. I mean, can you even imagine me dumbing down my rhyme just to get noticed? Pay attention. Turn up, turn up, turn up. Turn up. All I do is turn up. I turn up so much I might as well eat a bag of turnips. Hey, you wanna know what's sad? What? I bet you like that line. It made no sense at all, but I bet you got crunk off that line. Yeah, you can have that. I'ma stay right here with my gift and my talent. If you really wanna make moves, you gotta step out the box and achieve that balance. Go left field, stand out, go against the grain and get free. Cause last time I checked, hopping on a bandwagon is not define who you wanna be. Nah, bro, fuck that. I'm too scared to be myself. I'ma stay in my box. In a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. And I don't wanna come out. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. I'm in a box. Hey. And I don't wanna come out. If you're tired of fitting in, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. If you'd rather be yourself, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. If you don't wanna be something you're not, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. And if you're ready to break the mold, let me hear you say I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out. I'm stepping out.
started. I'll be feeling like yes I am. You know I'm the best I am. If you falling now, take me as I am. Tell me I'm the best I am. I'll be feeling like yes I am. You know I'm the best I am. If you falling now, take me as I am. Tell me I'm the best I am. I'll be feeling like yes I am. You know I'm the best I am. If falling now, take me as I am. Tell me I'm the best I am. I'll be feeling like yes I am. You know I'm the best. If falling now, take me as I am. Tell me I'm the best. Tell me I'm the best I am.
Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. And every time a ching money comes to me, it all flows in so abundantly. From the top, left, right, and up under me. Wave, 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 I'm a money wave. Money flow, money made. Flowing in and out, plus money saved. Debt, 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 all debt is paid. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. And every time a ching money comes to me, it all flows in so abundantly. From the top, left, right, and up under me. Wave, 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 I'm a money wave. Money flow, money made. Flowing in and out, plus money saved. Debt, 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 all debt is paid. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. And every time a ching money comes to me, it all flows in so abundantly. From the top, left, right, and up under me. Wave, 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 I'm a money wave. Money flow, money made. Flowing in and out, plus money saved. Debt, 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 all debt is paid. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. And every time a ching money comes to me, it all flows in so abundantly. From the top, left, right, and up under me. Wave, 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 I'm a money wave. Money flow, money made. Flowing in and out, plus money saved. Debt, 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 all debt is paid. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. And every time a ching money comes to me, it all flows in so abundantly. From the top, left, right, and up under me. Wave, 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 I'm a money wave. Money flow, money made. Flowing in and out, plus money saved. Debt, 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 all debt is paid. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. Money made. Flowing in and out, plus money saved. Debt, 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 all debt is paid. Ching, ching, ching goes the money tree.
ATL, welcome back. Part 2 of Sankofa Paradox down here in the dungeon. We got definitely big topics for you. Started off already. We're gonna jump back into it, but then we're gonna toss it over here to Dr. Funk of the Steins. And,
You sound real testy right about now. You sound real angry right about now, bro. Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
We're gonna jump over here to Dr. Funkenstein and see what he got to say on a few things, as if we care.
Go ahead.
All right, so we're gonna move past the hurt feeling guy, and we're gonna go to back on the Sam Cooke and some things that I think people need to think about. And before I get to Sam Cooke, I'll talk about Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday made a song called "Strange Fruit." Okay, "Strange Fruit" talked about the lynchings that were happening across the country, and the strange fruit were those men and women being hung from these trees. And if you go and watch, you do your own research, and they actually started talking about this in the movie Billie Holiday versus the United States of America. You will see how much trouble she got in for that song. 1954, that song was released.
What was the song about?
About the lynchings here in the United States.
Okay. Just want to make sure you got that out there.
And the song was released in 1954. Billie Holiday was dead in 1959. I believe that, and if you do your research, you will see that, because everybody talks about Billie Holiday, all they talk about is her drug addiction, right? But the FBI played a big part in that. There were several times where, especially there was one time they tried to lock her up unsuccessfully, and they planted the drugs on her and then showed up and arrested her, and it came out during the trial that the drugs was planted upon her. So, like, for her to make that song, the government applied heavy pressure. I mean, heavy pressure on her to not perform it, to the point of where they bought and sold their manager. They bought and sold her husband to convince and apply pressure to her to not sing it. She still sang it because she felt like that needed to be voiced. And then 5 years later, she's dead. Now, I put that out there for a reason, because Sam Cooke, he had a song, and his song is "A Change Gonna Come," right? That song was released. Well, he wrote the song as a protest song to support the civil rights movement as Black Americans fought for equality, right? Now, that song was released in 1964. He died in 1964. Now you think about the correlation there. And you can take that correlation and you can bring it to today. We had, when we started really speaking truth to power in music, you had Black Star, you got Black Thought, you had Public Enemy, you had KRS-One. That whole thing got twisted and mutilated, and now you got mumble rap.
Well,
before I go too deep into that,
you can take it even further though.
Oh, you definitely
Hold
go
on.
deeper.
We gonna take it to New York. People don't realize Tupac didn't have a record at all until after he came out with his first album. People don't realize Tupac did not have anything on his record, none whatsoever. The day after he released his album, his first one, he got arrested. They beat the brakes off of him in jail.
Oh, in Oakland. Oh, yeah. He was
And when then they released him, and they brought him out in handcuffs and stuff, but nobody paid attention to the busted eye, the busted skull, busted back of his skull.
Wasn't that Tupacalypse now? Is that what that was?
So it's like, yes, you're correct. When it comes to us, we have because let's explain something to everybody. Tupac was a high school dropout because he had to feed his family. But he always wanted to go to college. But he could not afford college because he had to put a roof over his head. Because his mom, because of who she was, had a hard time getting jobs and making enough money. Because she was a Panther. And she was a Panther that got arrested by a quote-unquote staged bombing of the Statue of Liberty that she really didn't have anything to do with. She was just there. And a lot of them people got arrested, and some of them people that got arrested were actually men who were on Malcolm X's security team the day he was assassinated. They used the charges to make sure that his security team could not be there. And this is a true account from Ray Woods, the person who was a New York special agent, part of police special forces in New York, to infiltrate the Nation of Islam and to infiltrate Malcolm X's security team. Why? Do people realize that Malcolm X himself was not a separatist? Mm-hmm. That's what people don't realize. He was not a separatist. He felt like we just need to come together because as they kept us divided, we made like a hand. If you got a hand and you slap somebody, it's going to sting, but it may not knock them out. Mm-hmm. But when you bring those digits together and form them in a ball and put them together, you can knock somebody out. Then they start to listen. But as we're separated, they're not listening that much because it's just a little sting. You got your little various factions: Black Lives Matter, the NAACP, your Black Militant Group, my Jam Master Jay. You got all these things that's separate. But what happens when you bring all of them together, including the Bloods, the Crips, the Disciples, Black Stone Rangers? Mm-hmm. What happens when you bring all those people together and they form that fist? That's what the Black Power fist is about. Bringing everybody together for the power of the people that you're trying to help bring equality for. So you had to plot, scheme, and everything to make sure that you kill Malcolm X. Sam Cooke looks like. Now let's also understand something. Malcolm X left the Nation of Islam. Well, he left the Nation of Islam because he did not believe that the ideals that was being portrayed was the ideals that was being upheld by the leader. Mm-hmm. So he went on left and started the Muslim Mosque Inc. and the Organization for the African American Unity, UA. After he formed that, people also got to realize that Muhammad Ali never joined the Nation of Islam. He went with Malcolm X to show him form his new party that became powerful by the day. Became a little bit too powerful for the likes of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is what they called him, or Elijah Pooh from that. Anyway, from Elijah Pooh. So these things. And now I'm not saying anything about the Nation of Islam because Elijah Muhammad or Elijah Pooh, whatever you want to call him, he did something that was very profound at that time. He brought, and I will give anybody their props, whether I like them or not, for what they did. He brought men and people together on a very large front and formed a movement that was very powerful. He was able to recuperate African-American men from the prison system and bring them into a faith to help them become better. I would never disrespect anybody that does something like that. Now, you can't be locking up little girls and holding them hostage in places or whatever else, whatever your children, which is why Malcolm X left, because he believed the ideals of the Muslim ideals would be upheld. Mm-hmm. But then, for some reason, y'all turn on this man. And people was like, well, Louis Farrakhan sat on a national stage because Malcolm X was Louis Farrakhan's teacher. We said on a national stage, if we dealt with Malcolm X like we deal with any traitor, what business of it of y'all? Yep. My thing is this: why did you see this man as a traitor? Because he's different in the ideals now. He didn't betray you. He just left. He didn't try to tear you down. He left. You tried to bomb this man's house. You think he was supposed to be kumbaya after that?
You did bomb his
house. But somebody was so stupid, they threw the bomb the wrong way and just hit the back of the house. Yeah. So you bombed this man's house. Why? This is a black man that brought people together. He also never disrespected any other civil rights leader or pastors or anybody. He always gave them reverence for what they did.
Well, in the beginning, his rhetoric was a little damning because it was always the so-called Negro leaders or these Uncle Tom Negro leaders.
What he said Negro. The reason he said so-called Negro leaders, it was not to disrespect them. He said the so-called Negro leaders because he knew what the word Negro meant.
Yep.
Okay. That's right. He explained that. See, people take things and say, "This what it." Yeah, but he explained it.
But what you just did is part of the propaganda that was put out.
Thank you.
To destroy Malcolm.
Thank you.
And he said divide the black community when it comes to him.
He explained it in his speech.
I just hit bullet points. That's what I do.
He explained it in his speech. He said, the reason I say so-called Negro leaders so y'all don't get this misunderstood is because I know what that word really means. He said, but our black leaders, because I do know what that means, they have done an outstanding job because they have not allowed for the white people, the Caucasians, the crackers, that's what he said, to separate us. They have not allowed, they have not allowed them to use each other to separate us. He said, and I give them all the respect and uttermost reverence in the world for that. And he started naming them by name. By name. And I have actually sat there and listened to a lot of his speeches because I was listening for this hate that everybody was talking about. But it was no hate there.
He just spit facts, and
he spit facts. He talked about the tyranny, and he talked about the corruption, and he named the corruption, and he said this is a matter of public record. So now
he was one of the first ones I remember to talk about why I call it the dominant culture, the way they do things from a buildup of guilt over the years, because you feel like if we ever come to power, we're going to try to put you under Jim Crow. We're going to try to put you under the plantation, which is why I always tell, when I have conversations with white people, you're not that important. We really don't care about you like that.
No, we don't.
To where we want to put you into a position that we were put into. We just want to be left alone and to do our own thing, whatever that is going to mean,
But see, the thing is...
But you're so guilty.
No, it ain't the guilt. Let's be real about this.
Fear.
It's not guilt. The fear is... If I go do my own thing,
guilt is a part
of
it.
No, but I want y'all to think about it for a second. If I do my own thing, and instead of those 5-star black recruits going to Duke or Alabama, they go to Jackson State or Howard, who going to see Alabama if they don't got
nobody?
Tua?
Nobody.
Or Derrick Henry?
Nobody.
Very few.
Or Devontae Smith?
Nobody.
Or Waddle? Ain't nobody going to see Nick Saban? Nobody. So if that happens, you lose your money and your power. Because you're making billions off of those children. Off of our children. So if we go do our own thing, you think that everybody going to go to the Hawks? Or I'll take the Heat. And see the Heat without Jimmy Butler? You think people really want to see Miles Leonard? By himself?
Well, I've already said it as far as the collegiate range go, that it needs to all either be SWAC or MEAC, and the SWAC and MEAC need to be FCS, D1, and D2 schools. Because I want to see the Rattlers win the national championship one year.
But but see, if we did that, it's going to expose the corruption. That's the one thing they don't like.
Expose what corruption?
The fact that I'm not going to let the Rattlers play for the championship because I control the BCS. The Rattlers can be 35-0, but I'm not going to let them play Clemson.
I think if we got to that level, I don't think they'd be able to block us.
They blocked Boise State. They blocked Texas Christian.
Excuse me. They just got mad at people who outsmarted them with GameStop and that whole situation.
Yeah, thank you.
And they just froze their accounts. Now some people got their money out before they was able to freeze it, but they froze everybody's accounts. So some people got $1 million sitting there on a screen and can't get to it. So you mean to tell me that they won't do that over here? Come on, man.
Because you mess with
fight
billions.
dirty at all times.
You messing with billions.
But see, just like you talked about bringing those digits in and make that mighty fist, it's a stronger blow. So what is that not bringing our digits together to make a mighty blow?
Not in their system.
I think what would need to happen.
You talk about a system. You know why they call it the Power 5? Because they control college football.
Right.
That's why it's called the Power 5.
You know what? When somebody when the AFL
they stopped UCF. UCF was undefeated.
Hold on, here we go.
UCF didn't play for the national championship year because they didn't have a comparable schedule.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Oh, now it's got to become. So you think they're gonna allow something comparable
That's
schedule?
an excuse. Listen, the way you do it is you come at them head on. The AFL came at the NFL and was taking them out. That's why the NFL said, "Wait a minute, you got all the stars over there.
Okay, so
how about we do this? We integrate you into our league." That's when they came, when the NFL bought them out and integrated them. That's when it came, and you had the NFC and you had the AFC. You understand, with all that type of stuff. So the way you do it is we should have our own HBCU Black College Football Championship. That's it. You understand? And then it'll get to a point where it gets so big Because you're gonna have the Black College Band Championship now. You understand what I'm saying? And then you're gonna have the Black College Football Championship, and it'll get so big that they're gonna be like just like the Honda was. It's a lot of money over here. Maybe we can have a conversation, but until then, they're gonna do just like Low Key said, and they're gonna block you because they want to play with their toys. You not in their toy group yet.
The biggest draw to it is being able to get the top black athletes in the country to come to the school because they can get the same exposure and got the same inroads to the pros. That's the only reason why.
What you mean?
Hold on. That's the only reason why I grew up in Tallahassee. I'm the number one running back in the country, and instead of me going to FAMU, I got to go across the country to USC. Well, I got to go a state over to Alabama because going to FAMU, I'm not going to get the exposure I need.
That's propaganda.
I'm only going to get the exposure I need if I go to Alabama.
That's
or
propaganda.
If I go, that's not propaganda.
Yes, it is propaganda.
Pro
because
Scouts
now,
don't
wait,
go to black schools on a regular basis. Are you nuts?
The athletes are starting to realize now they are good enough that they will come see me because I'm me. That's why you had all them people go to Hampton. That's why you had all those 5-star recruits go to Howard for the basketball and all that type of stuff.
You talking about Macon McCoy now?
Right.
Yeah, they did.
That's why you got Deion Sanders saying, "Nah, we're gonna do this at Jackson State."
That just started. Don't act like that's
no,
been going
but
on
you
for
missing
years.
a point. The point is,
wait a minute.
we are the business, man. Jay-Z been telling us that.
It didn't just start. That man started with Eddie Robinson.
Exactly.
How long ago was this?
You said just started.
That's
it
a long
started
time
50,
ago,
60
bro.
years ago, bro.
Right. Jay-Z said it before. I'm not just a businessman. I am the business, man.
To this day, if there was a top black quarterback coming out of high school right now, he is not going to a HBCU.
That's the problem we're saying. You want to know why he gonna go to Alabama? Because you see Alabama on TV. They got SEC got their own network.
That's what I just said.
You're missing the point.
You're missing the but again,
it has to be us being able to build our own thing, like he said. But we can give you the same exposure and the same.
Let's be real about it. You know who gave HBCUs a chance? Disney. You know what Disney did? We'll put you on ESPNU.
Okay.
That's all you need.
Wait. But ESPNU is also, to get the channel, you have to get into a higher package on DirecTV. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? But Disney said, I'll give you a shot. But this is the problem with that shot. We're still not supporting the HBCUs like we're supposed to. Because truth be told, when the last time you really want to go pay for a college game? That's an HBCU. But let's be real about this. Because people will take their butts to the Alabama game and sit out there knowing they ain't got... I've been to an Auburn game. Auburn wasn't even winning. But them fools were sitting out there tailgating like they were crazy. Every game.
Listen, I graduated from the University of Iowa, okay? I was there. Student tickets is $107.
The thing is...
Student tickets is $107.
Dion and Howard are changing the game. And Hampton, for the most part. They're changing the game. They're changing the game.
We'll see what they're going to do. Because Dion just got to Jackson State.
But they don't have the TV contract. See, TV contracts pay you. Yes. They pay you big money.
That's what I just said.
But who owns those TV contracts?
I don't know.
The television owner. You know the same reason why Bill Cosby locked up right now?
And the job is to make the package, or the job is to make HBCU football something that people are going to buy into and support.
Well, the market is already there. The problem is, like, first of all, it's a twofold problem. You got people thinking, I have to go to these schools for exposure, when in reality, the people go to those schools to scout because you went there. So you go. So for example, those 3 top 5 recruits that went to Hampton, I think it was
Howard.
You think the NBA stars and NBA recruiters ain't coming to Howard now to view them? They coming.
Not breathing.
They coming. And that's my point. So that right there, propaganda has to get thrown out the window. If wherever we go, they will come see us because we are who we are. That's number one. Number two, we have to make sure that like Low Key was saying, we gotta support the HBCUs more, going to the games, buying tickets, or just paying your school alumni dues.
Too many people got HBCU or PTSD. So I'm gonna say this. Muhammad Ali said it best. This is the third part of the One Night in Miami. He said it best. He said, people are not gonna come see me if I'm good. I'm a good boy. they want to come see me get knocked out because I'm brash, I'm bold, I'm that good. But he said the white people want to pay to want to see me lose. So green money is green money. So if I need to play the role so they can want to see me get beat up, but I still get their money as I'm knocking out these great white hopes, that's what I'm going to do. They don't want to see me if I'm the good old boy. If I'm the shining example. They want to see me at this point get knocked out, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be so brash. I'm gonna be so bold. I'm gonna tell them I'm the greatest. I'm to show them that I'm the greatest, so they could come see me knock out their people, and that's what happened. Why is Muhammad Ali the greatest? Because he said he was the greatest. He talked like he was that good, and he also stood up and said, "You're not sending me to Vietnam."
No, yeah, that's probably his greatest is the fact that he told the whole United States of America to go stick one, and they pretty much had to, or they did.
Now, they took his livelihood from him, right? But yet,
for a minute, yeah.
For 5 years, man. That's longer than a minute. And for a boxer, that's a lifetime.
I'm about to say, that was during his prime, though.
But Donald Trump said, "Oh, I got bone spurs. Oh, no, I can't go. Oh, my gosh. My ankle hurts."
His doctor wrote him a note.
Because his father said, "If you write my son this note so he don't have to go and enlist and get drafted, I'll make sure you got a free place to do your medical practice." Which is actually documented.
White privilege at its finest.
And that's the thing. But that's the thing. They don't want that to disappear. They don't want that to disappear. Because remember now.
And talk about in the collegiate sports.
No, period.
We just kind of jump topics. I missed the jump.
So to stay on topic, they don't want the white privilege, the supremacy. Right now, 73 Americans were voting to try to keep white supremacy in place.
73 million.
73 million people that voted for Donald Trump, Captain Cheeto himself. Because we still talking about this man, and he been gone. He got mad because only one person showed up to welcome him to New York. They don't like you, bro.
Yeah, I heard about that. I know that was a shot to the ego.
So again, Muhammad Ali showed us. In order for them to want to come see you, you got to be the bad guy. They got to want to see you fall. So I'm going to give them that. Henceforth, why Jim Brown said, "Hey, I'm out. I make more money from movies than I do playing football. So I'm going to retire at 29 years old in my prime as one of the greatest of all time. Because y'all not going to run me into the ground because you don't want me to do what I feel like I should do. You want me to do, as a grown man, what you want me to do."
Yep.
These men made statements. And because they made profound statements, 2 of them were killed and 2 of them characters were assassinated.
They tried to.
No, they did.
Well, which 2 are you saying had their character assassinated?
Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali.
Okay. Hello, we're having a conversation.
So,
people need to know
with that being the case, again, 2 of those 4 friends were assassinated. And the other 2 characters were assassinated. Because you go out and try to kill Jim Brown, you gonna have some problems. You try to go kill Muhammad Ali, because you're not just messing up his money, you messing up white people money. You got a problem.
I'm just trying to get a complete statement.
Because
that's why
what people don't understand about that Sam Cooke situation is, when he was killed, his white agent got the company and the money. Here's why they say they believe he has something to do with it.
But hold on, before you even go off of that, I want you to break it down. Sam Cooke had the rights to what?
The Rolling Stones catalog.
Okay, now that if you compare that to today, that's comparable to what Michael Jackson did when he took over Sony. You understand? And when Michael Jackson had the Beatles catalog. But
Beyonce.
think about, this man did this back in the 50s.
Yeah, he did.
Understand? And then let's add the nuance to the power of music. He came out with the song "A Change Is Gonna Come"
and did it on national TV.
And did it on national television. There was no backseas. They couldn't do to him what they did to Billie Holiday and try to silence him and plant drugs on him and shut him up because it was on television. One shot deal. So what did they do? In my opinion, it's mighty interesting that a couple months later he's dead.
with his head bashed in and with ligature marks on his hands. But so a woman did all that.
But it was a
justifiable homicide.
That's what they said.
It's definitely some shaky ground to it. But like I say, how would you ever even, if somebody were to even take up a new investigation, I mean, what would you even find?
You would find
other than the fact that it's questionable.
You would find the same things they found in FBI files.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, it's the Freedom of Information Act. You can find information. So they try to keep all that mess sealed about what they did to the civil rights leader. But guess what? People still was able to get to it and read it. So it's documented that you did these things. Nothing's going to happen. Why? Who can still control the narrative?
That's why I feel, and this is totally off subject, but that's how I feel about this case that they're reopening for the young man who mysteriously killed himself accidentally by jumping into the mat in the gym and was found without any organs, without any of his organs in his body. But you're gonna reopen the case 8 years later, right?
Yeah, he dove into. They said he dove into the mat and suffocated.
So you suffocated and your organs disappear, right? Yeah. The organ fairy came and took his organs.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. James Earl Ray said this. And if you don't know who James Earl Ray is, it's the man who supposedly assassinated Martin Luther King. He said, "I was on my way to Texas." When they said he said, but I knew when I heard on the radio that they was looking for this car that sounded just like mine, that something was wrong.
Shit, I'd have ditched the car. I got the hell out.
He said, why would I have killed this man? Yeah, I may have liked him, but I was not near there. So how could they say it was me?
It's called a patsy.
Or
I'm thinking, but he had to be connected to something negative in order for him to be even on the potential patsy's list. What is it about his background? Who's it connected to that said, okay, we could possibly use him as a scapegoat?
Well, I mean, I guess the same way they picked those black people they said killed Malcolm X, they had nothing to do with it. They had nothing to do with it. The same way they picked those black people and put them in prison, who they said had something to do with killing Malcolm X.
Well, we know Malcolm X's assassination was an inside job. It could only be.
Actually, the Asian lady who was on the stage with Malcolm X said, and I quote, "Actually, that's not what happened."
What did she say?
She said that the shooting started. I saw Ray Woods running away. He never fired a shot. I saw him running away, and I saw some other guys come, and I saw him get into the car, the police car. I saw them arrest certain African-American individuals, put them in a police car. But nobody had yet called the police.
So they tried to say Ray Woods took some shots?
No, Ray Woods was undercover. He got a medal after this.
Yeah.
They never showed his face, but he got a medal afterwards.
I think it's the key that you just said, that they arrested him, put him in the car, but nobody ever called the police. So why are you there?
Now, because they arrived very quickly after the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, y'all was down the street? Was y'all at the block? Y'all was on the block?
Yeah.
So, but why'd you put these particular individuals in the car? Well, they asked Ray Woods, did you know these other undercover infiltrators? He said, no, we didn't know each other. I didn't find out they were there until after they took us and told us I could never talk about it, or the same thing gonna happen to me that happened to Malcolm X.
Man, that I can see that happening, because you don't, not defending, just from what I know, to having multiple operatives on a situation, you don't want them to know each other for fear that they might communicate and it'll be seen. So I guess that
No. They said this after the assassination.
Well, I get it. Did you know them? No, but I'm saying, if I've got more than one operatives on a situation trying to attempt or get an assassination done, no, I don't want you knowing each other. You're not going to know each other, because that means if you know each other, you're going to communicate, and that'll screw things up. Never mind. You'd have to know espionage and counter intel and stuff.
I did espionage. That's not my thing. I ain't trying to kill people and supplant things that ain't mine. So this is what I'm gonna say. And the last thing we're gonna cover is Jim Brown. Jim Brown knew that as an athlete, let's understand, that man's one of the greatest football players ever that retired way too early. But he knew they only saw him as a means to make money. A means to make money. So he said, if I'm gonna make money, I'm gonna do it on my own terms. And since I'm gonna do it on my own terms, since y'all gonna find me because I'm not where y'all want me to be when I'm there, then guess what? Y'all can have it.
Yeah, cause he retired like right before camp was supposed to start.
Camp was starting, and they told him they were gonna find him every day that he wasn't at camp.
Yeah.
So he told him, "Don't worry about finding me. I quit."
Yeah.
So I mean, that's something that we got to think about. And I'm gonna say 2 more things, and then I'm gonna get closing comments. 1 year ago, yesterday, was the death of Breonna Taylor. The EMT worker who was lying in bed asleep when the police decide to break into her apartment and shoot up her apartment and kill her in her bed while she was asleep. Sound familiar? Because what happened to Fred Hampton Sr. And the other thing is Pauli Murray. If you don't know who Pauli Murray is, I want to give her a shout out. Pauli Murray was an activist, also a civil rights attorney. She's a young African American woman. Thurgood Marshall used her research and her argument to win the Brown versus Board of Education, which is one of the most pivotal cases in American history. She also was the lead proponent for the women's rights movement. Yes, she was the one that made sure that women got added to the civil rights situation. She was the one that made sure that it went through. She was the one that was out there that led the way. But she don't get her credit. Why? Because she was an African-American woman who's also an attorney, who put in their work to make sure that we can go to the school that we want to. Even though Bull Connor and everybody else decided that they were going to make sure that we didn't get in. I want everybody to think about this for a second. They didn't want us there, but now you make them the most money. They did not want us there. They was willing to use violence to stop us from getting in there. But yet now, we are their cash cows, and we make them the most money.
So when are they going to make their Jim Brown move?
That's the question we all got to ask. But if we want to go ahead and be that force for change and make that move, I'm with it. Just let me know. Because I'm willing to move forward and make sure that our people get not just equality, but what they deserve. Final and closing thoughts, Dr. Funkenstein.
So, one thing we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is make sure we do not become manipulated. And what do I mean by that? Jimmy Fletcher had a dream. He was sick and tired of seeing what drugs was doing to his community. So he went into law enforcement because he wanted to get the drugs out of his community. He became one of the first FBI agents. Period. Now that's beautiful. You understand? But what was he used for? He was used to infiltrate and get close to Billie Holiday. And he was the one that they sicked on her when she created the song Strange Fruit. He was the lead person they used to put her in jail. And the reality of it was he came into this thing trying to get the drugs off the streets. But he was manipulated and used to close a voice down that could have changed the streets. So I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you control your path, you have a plan, and you are looking beyond just what's in front of your face. You have to play chess. If you don't play chess, you will become somebody's pawn.
I just tell you, look beyond the surfaces and do your research, folks. Everything has layers. Everything has more than one side to it. Everything is not just what you think it is. Just like with onions, peel back those layers and get to the truth on anything. Make your own decisions. Don't just believe, what one or two people say. They may not be informed. They may not be authorities. Do your own research. It's out there. Google is a mug, and get to your own truths on things.
So, my final thoughts is going to be on Pauli Murray. She was born in Baltimore, Maryland. Born in Baltimore. She was raised in Durham, North Carolina. She moved to New York and went to school And the school she went to was Hunter College, where she earned a degree of Bachelor of Arts in 1933. In 1940, Murray decided to sit in the all-white section on a bus in Virginia. And she was arrested for violating the state segregation laws. Sound familiar? She ended up, because of the incident, she ended up becoming a socialist worker of defense league. She became involved in that, so she can actually make sure she defends those who can defend themselves when it comes to the dynamics of equal rights and equal pay. She later enrolled in law school at Howard University. Her again, HBCU. Where she became aware of sexism at Howard. Yep. She called it the Jane Crow.
Wow.
Yeah. Because she realized that as a woman, she wasn't getting fair equal treatment when it came to the law school at Howard. So then she, Jim Crow, she decided to fight against the Jim Crow laws after she experienced the situation on the bus in Virginia and the Jane Crow, what she called at Howard. She ended up becoming the first woman to graduate with a Doctor of Judicial Science. First African-American, again, to graduate with a Doctor of Judicial Science degree from Yale Law School. So I want you to listen to that for a second. She got discriminated against at Howard and then ended up going to Yale to be the first graduate, African-American graduate from Yale Law School. Think about that for a second. So, she ended up arguing for civil rights. She was the chief counsel for the National Advancement of Colored People. Thurgood Marshall said that her book on the states and laws of race and color, the Bible of the Civil Rights, became the Bible of the Civil Rights Movement. She served on the 1961 and 1963 Presidential Commission on the Status of Women, and she was appointed by John F. Kennedy. In 1966, she was the co-founder of the National Organization for Women, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg named Murray as a co-author of a brief on the 1971 case of Reed versus Reed in recognition of her pioneering work on gender discrimination. The case articulated the failure of the courts to recognize sex discrimination for what it is and its common features with other types of arbitrary discrimination. Murray held faculty and administrative positions at Ghana School of Law, Benedict College, and Brandeis University. That was Pauli Murray. So, if you don't know who she was, know her name now. The first African-American to graduate with a degree of judicial science from Yale Law School. Put some respect on her name.
That's hot. That's big stuff right there.
So, with that being the case, thank you, world. Thank you, Elle. Thank you, my people. Thank you for your support, your love. Continue to support and love. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as we upload all previous episodes of the Sankofa Paradox and the Osiris Effect on YouTube. That way you can listen to us anytime you want to, any way you want to, whenever you want to. You can also do the same thing on our website at majorsmartentllc.com, and also on our Twitter and on our Instagram and on our Facebook page. I'm going to let DJ Nelac tell you about what those are and tell you about those so he can mention them to you. But again, thank you all and we appreciate you all. But now we're going to go ahead and move into a stronger path with the ATL Underground radio station. Not only are we going to be a force for change, but we're going to tell you all about the color of freedom, the movement to make sure the advancement of our people is being heard and being put to the forefront in this society, in this community. Thank you very much, ATL. Thank you very much, world. Thank you very much for our people, for your support. ATL, we out. Yeah.
Them dudes said.
KK.
Sigh.
Thank you so much much for tuning in to the Sankofa Paradox with Ed D and Low Key on ATL Underground Radio. We are live every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a playback of today's episode available Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. So be sure to tell a friend to check us out at MajorSmartENTLLC.com. You can also download the free app on Google Play and the Apple Store by typing in ATL Underground in the search bar. And be sure to follow us on Facebook at ATL Underground Radio, on Twitter at ATL Underground and the number 1, as well as on Instagram at ATL Underground MSE. Got a topic you'd like to hear us touch on? Shoot us an email at majorsmartent@gmail.com with your suggestions. Catch you on the flip side, and we'll see you next Sunday.